What's up, everybody? This is Jay with 123 Go with Jay, and we have another Go Rolling With Me episode. So, in this video, it's me and my boy Alexis. We're actually just hitting up a couple of back roads not too far from where we live, and Alexis decided he wanted to take the lead, so I'd be the chase bike, and we're just enjoying the beautiful evening. As you can see, the sky is nice and blue. We've got some great clouds up above us, and traffic is pretty light. So if you haven't already, make sure you comment, like, subscribe. Definitely want to try to build this channel out and really engage everybody that's watching. So this video is again for those people who can't get out and get on their Rykers because maybe the weather is bad, or you've got something else that keeps you from getting out and riding. We do the riding for you. So in this ride, it's pretty chill. We're actually headed, doing a little loop around just outside of South Charlotte, some back roads that are going to take us over to Wesley Chapel. Then we're going to go through Waxhaw and then head up Providence Road and pretty much round this trip out. So it's a nice peaceful ride. The whole thing takes about maybe 25 to 30 minutes depending on the pace that we're keeping. So this particular day, I think we pretty much were chilling. So it was on the weekend and pretty light work. One of the things I love about the Ryker is being able to just kind of break away, separate from everything that might be going on in my world as an adult, and just be able to put things, out of my mind as I concentrate on riding. And I think that's something that really stands out. The first time I rode, I remember feeling like I had to focus to, be a defensive driver and make sure that I wasn't putting myself in harm's way. Also just being aware of my surroundings 360 degrees, because you are so vulnerable when you're not riding in a vehicle like a car or a truck or something like that. So because of that, what I find is that my focus allows me to concentrate on just the things that are important and then get rid of everything that's not important. So those of you who are thinking about getting out there on 3 wheels or 2 wheels, keep that in mind. Your focus shifts, and it really does create that separation from your world and everything else that's going on, because you just want to make sure that you're being safe, but also you want to enjoy the experience. So definitely taps into a part of your brain that we a lot of times don't access, which is just that space, that quiet, that silence. And I think that's what I love about being on the Ryker. So as you see Alexis, he pulled up at a stoplight right there, and he's actually wearing his jacket is interesting. He's got a mesh jacket that has a liner built into it. I do have a mesh jacket, but mine does not have a liner, so it's really nice to have that mesh on the hotter times of the year. Look at this clown kind of cutting close here. Anyway, so yeah, the mesh jacket is nice because it lets the wind blow through, and on those hot summer days when you really want to cool off, a little trick that I learned is to wear like a mesh jacket and get a t-shirt. Now you can do it with an undershirt if you want to, but it's best just to have a regular t-shirt on, nothing else underneath it. Soak that thing up and wet it, wring it out, put it on, and then put your mesh on top. And as you move through the wind, it cools off. In the evaporation process, it's like being in the air conditioning. So that's kind of nice, and why I like the versatility of the mesh jacket, especially the type that he has, where it's actually got a liner on the inside, so he can wear it in cooler temperatures. I personally have 2 different types of jackets. I have a jacket that's my summer jacket, then I have a jacket that's kind of my 3-season jacket, and that jacket is black. It's a little bit thicker, does not have any mesh inserts or anything like that. It does have some vents that you can unzip to allow air to kind of get into the jacket, and then it also does have a liner, so that's kind of nice to have. So we're taking off, we're shooting through the intersection, and speed limit's about 45, so we're just chilling right now, but at some point it will jump up to about 55, and that's one of the things I like about the back roads in the area that I live in, is that most of them are at 55 miles an hour. So once you get outside of some of the populated areas, which doesn't take us long to get out there, you're kind of rolling, and essentially you're turning in the back roads into a roller coaster, and it's really fun, it's really exhilarating. I will say that because of the curves, it reminds you not to push too hard, so it's nice to be a conservative rider but still be able to have your fun at 55 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour on roads that are well paved, nice smooth surfaces, not too many bumps or anything that's going to have you bouncing around and jostling all around the road. I love the sound of that wind. And another thing, speaking of the wind, something that's really important, I like to just continue to encourage all riders to do this. When you ride, wear earplugs. That buffeting sound and the pressure inside your helmet can actually cause hearing damage over time. So make sure that you wear earplugs to protect your ears. And for those that are concerned with being able to hear sounds that are ambient outside of your helmet, such as emergency vehicles, other cars, things like that, it does not hinder your ability to hear those things. You can be riding right next to a car and you will hear that car's wheels, you will hear the engine from that car, you hear everything. You're just eliminating some of those frequencies and sounds that can over time affect the quality of your hearing. So protect your ears, ride safe, ride sharp. We want to be able to do this for a long time and not be with our family and friends screaming at the top of our lungs because we can't hear. We think we have to yell to everybody that we're talking to. So definitely wear earplugs. Keep those ears protected. And if you do have a comm system inside your helmet, like I personally do, where you're listening to music, you have a microphone inside where you can possibly take a call if you need to, or if you just want to connect to other riders, you will also still be able to hear everything pretty clearly through there. The sound will be reduced slightly, but you'll still be able to hear your music. If you don't have a windscreen, you're definitely going to hear less because the wind is going to be making a lot of noise against your helmet. But if you have a windscreen like I have, that'll help kind of reduce some of that sound, and you'll be able to hear your music, your comms. And again, with your earplugs in, you'll still be able to hear all the ambient sounds that are important. Just to kind of give you an idea, one time I was out riding on the interstate and my check engine light came on, and if I recall correctly, it made a beep sound. I actually heard it beep while I was on the highway. So yeah, you're not going to be in a position where you can't hear things, and that beep was a pretty loud beep actually. So yeah, you'll be able to hear it. I always got to be careful at those four-way stops. So actually what we did there, normally, when you pull it to a four-way, you either got to go based on order of arrival or the rightmost car. And as you saw, the drivers allowed me to continue on with Alexis. So that's one of the nice things about riding with another person is that, when you get to situations like that, you don't get separated. A lot of times drivers are very courteous and respectful of riders out there. And that's one thing I can say about the areas that we ride in. I definitely appreciate the courtesy that I receive from people in vehicles, that sort of thing. They're very aware of my presence, and they're very graceful when it comes to just, giving you some leeway and allowing you to continue on with your partner that you're riding with, or sometimes just go through the intersection first. They know you can take off a little bit faster. So I've had drivers that allow me to move ahead of them, pulling up to lights and stop signs and things like that, because they know that they're not gonna move along and they're just taking away from my fun experience, and so they just let me go. So it's kind of nice, but you don't get that everywhere. But I can say 95% of the time that's been my experience. So yeah, now we're up to 55 miles an hour, and we're on a stretch of road that's going to have us in Waxhaw, North Carolina, probably within the next few minutes. So it's a beautiful stretch. I love it. It's great landscape. The scenery is just amazing. There's going to be a few areas where the tree line kind of comes to an end, and you'll be able to see the horizon and the sunset or sunrise, depending on the time of day. And it's just amazing. It's very picturesque, almost like a postcard in real life. You can see we're also maintaining a really good safe following distance because the speed is a little bit faster. So Alexis is definitely moving along. I'm keeping up with him, but it's definitely important to keep a safe following distance, especially when you consider how fast these things can break. When you hit the brakes, you're stopping pretty quickly on a Can-Am Ryker, so you definitely want to give yourself a little extra room when it's time to hit the brakes, that sort of thing. And because Alexis is taking the lead, he wasn't sure of the route, so I had to get him with a little horn blow, tell him which way to go. He figured it out. We're actually a minute away from a little town called Mineral Springs. Nice little spot sometimes I go to gas up before I hit a couple of different back roads. And what's nice about this area is that there's an intersection. I literally just flip a coin, and decide which way I'm going to go. I'm going to turn left, go right, or just go straight ahead and continue out. So either way I go, I can't go wrong with this next intersection coming up at the traffic light. And there's also a gas station close by, so I can fuel up, get some snacks, get some water, that sort of thing, make sure I'm ready to go. Trying a little something new with my camera setup here. So this angle is kind of showing the front of my Ryker. For those of you who have your Ryker and it's black, you haven't done anything to it to change it, pretend it's yours. You're looking over the front of your Ryker and you're just enjoying the ride. So we're about to jump over to the gas station real quick and gas up, snack up real quick, and then we're going to continue on our drive. So just bear with us as we go ahead and pull off and get ready to keep it pushing. Just like that, we're back. That was a quick fuel up. So as you can tell, it's getting a little bit darker. Vehicles are coming past us with their headlights on. So not too much to be concerned about at this particular time, but because of the region, it is important though to be aware of the shoulder and be on the lookout for animals, in particular deer in this region. Occasionally you might have a couple of birds that are flying kind of low for different reasons. You may have some rabbits and squirrels, maybe a skunk or two, but definitely the deer. What's nice about this area though is that the shoulder is wide enough that you can actually see things at a distance, so you already kind of have some heads up if there's something that might be a threat to you, even with the tree line. Also too, you'll see a lot of the properties that we drive by have like the long ranch style fences, so that also kind of helps out too. So it's really nice to ride an area that you have familiarity with. You kind of know what to expect, you know what to look out for. You know your areas that you can push it, you know your areas you gotta dial back. Sometimes you just know an area where it's just a fun part of your ride, so you kind of look forward to it when you get to that area with the straightaway or a bunch of twisties, that sort of thing. So that's something else I like to do too, is kind of keep track of like the different riding experiences when I'm out on my Ryker in areas that are close to where I live, so that when I want to just have a certain type of experience, I'll pick that particular roadway and go for it. I will say that this route is definitely a route that I take quite a bit, and the reason I do it is because it's pretty much a straight shot. It gives me my speeds that I want, so I'm hitting 55 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, and in particular it's not far from where I live, so it's easy for me to jump out there. Oh, there's a two-wheeler. It's not too far from where I live, and because of that I can go out, get my fix on the Ryker for, let's say, 30 minutes and be back at the house. In the summertime, it's nice, but in the wintertime, when I want to get my ride in, it's, you know, colder out, daylight savings, and you got the sun setting much sooner. It's a route that people that know me know that I take this route a lot. They know the exact direction I go in, so if anything were to happen, they know exactly where to look for me, or they know where to come find me if I have to make a call for help or something like that. But also too, it's just a quick 30-minute ride and I can be back at the house. So that's what I like about this ride. And if it's cold out, I just prepare myself. I put on all my warm gear and I go out there and get it done and bring it back in. I've got my fix, even though the weather might not be in my best, it might not be favorable. Check out that horizon. I love it. See what I mean by the frequency of the cars? I mean, the lack of congestion. It's just you might get a car that goes past you once every minute or so. It's really calm, it's really chill. You can have a good time. Good speeds, good curves, smooth surfaces on the road. And you can see the tree line clearing, and it's just what I talked about. You know, we're riding in towards the sun, so we're actually headed in a western direction, southwest direction. So you can really kind of see you can't see the sun specifically in this particular shot, but you can definitely tell where the sky is brightest, and that's the direction that we're moving towards. Some beautiful homes on the left side over here. Every time I go by, I just stand in awe and just look at those houses sometimes, and they have a beautiful pasture or hillside back behind those houses, man. It's just amazing. Would love to own a house like that one day where I can just sit on the back patio or just look out, just see these rolling hills going towards the horizon. It's amazing. So yeah, while we're riding, I'd just like to remind you, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, spread the word, tell people about 123 Go with Jay. Go ahead and jump into this playlist of Go Rolling With Me episodes. Have a good time with it. Again, the inspiration for doing this was one day I was working out in the weight room and wanted to go ride, but it was cold and wet outside and I couldn't get out there. And I said, let me find something to watch. It was somebody riding along on their Ryker, talking about the product and their experiences, and I was like, wow. I watched several videos in a row and got a good lift in, felt good about myself, and I just kind of had a eureka moment. So here we are. Gives you all the sights, all the sounds. The only thing I can't do is blow wind through your hair. But you can go turn on the fan. Let the wind blow in your face on the fan. Sounds like a Disney World ride. As you can see, it's getting darker now, so headlights are definitely more prominent in the shot. I'm probably still running my high beams right now. I normally don't turn my high beams off until it really is into dusk, where I don't want to blind oncoming drivers. Something else that I do want to add though, because we are driving kind of into dusk, one of the things that I've noticed, because I have the windshield, usually I'll raise the windshield when I'm riding at higher speeds to kind of cut the wind, and it takes a little bit of the pressure off the helmet, takes some of that buffeting away, the sound. But what I find is once it gets darker, those headlights kind of get a little, blurry as they make their way through the windshield and through the plastic on my visor. So what I've been doing lately, probably for like the last year or so, is I actually will lower my windscreen and just keep my visor down, obviously, while I'm riding in the dark. And I find that I have better visibility that way, and it's less distortion when it comes to the lights going through the plastic of the windscreen that the Ryker has. So it might be a little tip for those of you who have a windscreen and you're realizing that it's a little bit difficult to see at night. Try lowering it so that you're not behind it, that your eyes are above it, and you might notice your visibility improves, and it's a little bit easier and less strain on your eyes because you're not seeing blurred lights coming through the windscreen. Nice little Ryker tip for you all. So now we're getting a little bit closer to the town that we were initially headed towards. So kind of the second stop along the way, second town on this route, and it's Waxhaw. So we're going through the school zone, and we're about to go through some neighborhoods. So speed slow up just a little bit. Nice little intersection right here. We're gonna put this left. Circle K on the side over there. I've been known to stop there a few times and hydrate, get my snacks, take a break. Nice staff in that gas station as well. That's another thing too. I love meeting people when I'm out on the Ryker, because let's just be real for a second. I mean, yes, I ride for myself, but I also ride just for the conversation starter. It's always, I'll say this, I am a introvert with the skills of an extrovert, so it's nice when I get on the Ryker. I know that I'm going to be seen. I know people are going to speak to me. I know people are going to wave and smile and everything else. And so when I get on the Ryker, I look forward to that actually. It's nice because while I'm moving, I have that balance of being isolated and being introverted. But once I hit that stop sign, or I'm at an intersection, or sometimes I'll even see drivers wave as they're oncoming. It's nice to be able to wave and have those moments. So the same applies whenever we make stops at like gas stations. I typically stop at some of the same gas stations just because of where I'm located, and getting a full tank of gas and making sure I got everything I need before I actually start riding, because I don't like to stop once I'm going. So it's nice to be able to see the staff on a regular basis, and just familiar faces. Sometimes people will talk and have conversations. Other times they just smile because they recognize you, but they don't have a conversation, and that's okay as well. So I really like that, and kind of being a regular to some of these different locations is kind of nice when I want to socialize and interact and that sort of thing. So if you're the type of person who does not like attention, if you don't like speaking to random strangers, if you don't like kids waving to you from the back seats of cars and vans, do not buy a Ryker. If you're the type of person who loves that type of interaction, you kind of want to feel like a star or a celebrity and, just in the moment, get a Ryker. You're going to draw attention. People are going to see you. They're going to wave. They're going to smile. They're going to talk to you. Letting them know we need to make a turn up here. So had to hit them with the little meet.
Go!
So something else to talk about too. So both Alexis and I, we both have 900 Sports, 22 900 Sports. He bought his bike, I believe, a month after I bought mine, if I'm not mistaken. We did not know each other at the time, but I believe that's right. I think we're staggered by like a month, maybe 2 months. And so he's pretty much got his as a bare unit. He didn't add any accessories or anything like that. Me, on the other hand, I immediately purchased the shad bag. I purchased the windshield and updated my seats, so I have the comfort, driver's seat, the comfort, passenger seat, and the high backrest, as well as hand guards on mine as well. So I did buy some hand guards aftermarket. Ordered them on Amazon, actually. They were a lot cheaper, but made of the same materials as the OEM hand guards that you buy through Can-Am. And the hand guards do make a difference. A few minutes ago I talked about riding in the cold weather. The hand guards not only help deflect bugs and debris, small pebbles, things like that, but they also cut the wind. And that means that your hands aren't exposed to the air as they would be if you didn't have the hand guards on. Even with gloves on, in cold weather, your fingers will freeze, your hands will be numb, and it's very uncomfortable. And because of that, I think my initial threshold for riding was probably 50 degrees, and that was kind of my cutoff. I think I may have ridden a few times at around 48 degrees, and it was unbearable. I ended up buying some little heated wraps to put on my hand grips, and those were okay, but it didn't really help as much. And then once I bought the wind deflectors, I was able to ride into colder temperatures, and that was really nice. So the lowest I've been on my bike is around 40 degrees. I think I may have ridden at 38 one time, and that was okay, but that was definitely a quick ride. And I promise you, I can guarantee the route I took was this route. But I did not go all the way through. I turned around at the halfway point and turned back towards the house. So I think I might have only ridden for about 20 minutes. But with my current setup that I have now, I can definitely ride below 40 degrees, which is nice. Again, the only concern I have is when it gets that cold, it's getting dark. So I just have to pick and choose, and I may end up riding immediately after work, at like maybe right at 5 o'clock if I happen to work from home that day, or I'll just wait until the weekend and ride. Sometimes I'll just get on a ride and run an errand. Now, if I'm just gonna run an errand to like the grocery store or a fast food restaurant or something like that to go pick up food, I'll ride anytime. It doesn't matter. I'll ride at 3 o'clock in the morning because I'm just riding a few miles away from the house. Probably round trip, it may be 6 miles. So in that case, it's nice to be able to jump on the Ryker, and that gives me a chance to get it out of the garage, let the juices flow through the engine, have a little fun, little throttle therapy, even if it's only for a few minutes. Then I'll head back to the house. So that's something that I'm known to do as well. So it's kind of a little local commuter bike for me. That's why having the shad bag is really nice. helps out that process a little bit. I can get quite a bit in there actually. So for those who are thinking about the shad bag, it will hold a full face helmet, just to give you an idea. And I do have a big head, so I have an extra large helmet. And yeah, it fits in there just right. Not much room for anything else, but it will hold my helmet. So because of that, I can get food bags in. I can get a couple bags of grocery in there if I need to, that sort of thing. I think the most groceries I've had in there, I've had about maybe 3 or 4 bags of groceries. One of the local grocery stores nearby, they often have buy 2 get 3 free energy drinks. So I'm a big Celsius drinker. Drink 1 a day in the morning to get my metabolism going and help with weight loss and that sort of thing. So the other week I stopped off in the store and I was able to get 4 can boxes inside my shad bag. So that gives you an idea of how much space is in there and how much you can squeeze into that thing. So that was 4 can boxes of Celsius energy drink, Red Bull, same size boxes. So I could have gotten 5 of those in there too. So now we're on Providence Road. It's a road that leads all the way into Charlotte from Union County actually. So we're headed north and we're going to start making our way towards uptown actually. Alexis, a lot of times when he and I ride, you know, I'll ask him, I'll say, hey man, what do you want to get into? Do you want to be seen or do you want to have fun? And he'll give me an answer and then we'll pick a route based on that response. So, you know, to be seen, you got to go where all the eyes are. So we start heading to populated areas like anything in Charlotte city limits, South Charlotte, South End, Uptown, University area, the Nodi area if you're from this region. We'll go to places like that where we can be seen just to get the attention. Because sometimes that's what it's about. It's just having people look at you and make, you know, have you think that you're cool. That's fine with me. Then there's days where I'm like, nah, I just want to have a little fun. So let's do the back roads instead and get out to some spaces and just see some new sights and new roads and find us some twisties and some straightaways and let's just have a little fun with this thing. But this particular night, he said he wanted to be seen and I had a different perspective. So we took the back road, the long way, to loop around to the south side of the city. And now we're headed towards the city so that Alexis can be seen because that's all he wants to do is be seen. And I ain't gonna lie, I want to be seen too. Look at this view, man. This is so awesome. I feel like the night rider. Just out there, it's starting to get a little dark, straight away. Still gotta watch that shoulder though, make sure there's no animals. And also at this time, I think the other concern besides animals are drivers that don't have their headlights on. Because we are moving so much faster and we are small compared to other vehicles and our profile is a little awkward as far as the headlight position. You know, you'd have to be careful that some drivers, they might not recognize your speed and judge your speed well, but it helps if you can see them first. So this time of night, sometimes what I'll find is that there'll be drivers out that will not have their headlights on. In the same way that I need them to judge their speed, for me, I need to be able to see them and judge their speed and their direction, their control of their vehicle. So this is probably one of the more challenging times in the evening to ride a 2 or 3 wheel vehicle like this and be exposed when some drivers forget to turn their headlights on. But so far we're doing good. But there's something else to think about. And we want to stay safe, we want to stay sharp while we're out here. Such a nice ride. Shout out to the folks that make my 360 action camera, the Insta 360. I got a little tongue tied there. Love this thing. I actually have 2 that I purchased. I got one for me and one for my lady. She's the adventurous type as well, so she saw my camera, fell in love with it, thought it was really cool, so I had to buy her one as a gift. So yeah, so it's a cool camera. If you haven't seen them before, definitely do a quick search and look it up. The Insta 360 action cameras. Really nice to have to do something like this. Technology has come such a long way. As a photographer, the innovations that I've seen over the last few years, it's just amazing. Anything you can imagine, you can do with the camera nowadays. You can see my shadow. You can see where I got the camera extended out over the hood of the Ryker. Even though we're on three wheels, a lot of times when I come up to stops, especially when me and Alexis are riding together, we'll usually stagger just to increase our road presence, but also too, we're in each other's rearview mirror depending on who is in the lead. So if he's trying to signal to me or I'm trying to signal to him, he might see that in the rear view and be able to keep his head forward, but glance down and get the instruction or whatever we're trying to do and keep it pushing. So still like to stagger as much as you can with three wheels. Nice deep blue sky ahead of us. We're getting there, folks. It's one of the things I like about this little stretch of road. It's a straight shot into town, so you really can't mess this up. At some point the lanes will open up, so we'll have extra lanes to work with. 2 lanes in both directions, so that's kind of nice. But we're not running into any slow drivers or anybody that's making us drive slower than the posted speed limit, so we're okay for right now. Another thing that I like to point out on nighttime rides, you'll hear a lot of trainers that train motorcycle safety. They talk about not driving faster than your headlights, which basically means that, you know, when your headlights on a motorcycle, you have a distance that they reach. And if you're driving too fast, by the time your brain processes information, you may have overtaken that object or obstruction in the road, whatever the case may be. So it gets a little tricky when you're on some of these back roads and the only light you have is coming from your headlights. You do have to slow it down a little bit so that you're actually not driving faster than your headlights and you don't have any surprises or things that greatly reduce your reaction time. But my solution for that is driving places at night with ambient light that has lots of street lights, lots of businesses, that sort of thing, because you'll see the light from those things and they'll light up the area so that you don't solely have to rely on just your headlights. So in the wintertime, late fall, winter, early spring, that's what I do now, is instead of riding the back roads, I will head towards more populated areas where there's more ambient light, like over here to the left. And as we get closer to South Charlotte, you'll start to see more and more street lights appear, and that allows you to be able to enjoy your ride a little bit without the pressure of the risk of driving faster than your headlights. So now it's splitting up, and I think we're going to jump in a turn lane. We're going to head towards Ray Road. So we didn't take Providence all the way. Hey, why not take up both lanes? We're cool enough to do that. Alexis is a content creator himself, so he's always wanting me to get shots of him. So got myself in the spot where I can get a good shot of him, side profile. I won't show it in this particular ride, but more to come. We usually get together and ride a couple of times every 2 or 3 weeks. You know, he's got a family, a child, so his obligations are a little bit different than mine.
Yo, when I tap my head, I'll take lead. When I tap my head, I'll take the lead.
Just a little communication so that he knows that I'm gonna pass by him so that I can get a shot of him from the front versus a follow shot. So He does not have comms in his helmet at this time. He has a little setup that allows him to hear music, but he doesn't have comms yet, so we still have to yell, use hand signals, that sort of thing, but that's cool though. It doesn't change anything that we're doing. I also want to mention, it does appear that we're stopping way short of the cars in front of us. We're actually not. We're actually probably like a car length behind. You can kind of judge it based on the van to our right or the SUV to our right. It literally is kind of occupying the space. It's the fisheye perspective of the lens, but in future videos I will correct for that. So hey, we're just getting started. You got to start somewhere, right? Don't judge me. Just like and subscribe. We're gonna grow as we go, man. Build the plane as we fly. Get your turn signal. There you go. All right. Look at that view. Imagine all the people driving past that. They're like, man, those two dudes, man, they must be pretty cool. So we're getting a little bit closer to the end of this particular Go Roll Out With Me episode, or Go Rolling With Me episode. So definitely look forward to making more of these for everybody. Hope you were able to enjoy this ride, experience the Ryker without actually being on your own Ryker. And whatever it is that may have you watching this, as opposed to being out on the road, creating your own experience, we hope that that changes. Whether it's the weather, whether it's your health, whether it's just you just don't have enough time or not. I hope that all that changes for you so that you can get out, hit these roadways and have a good time on your Can-Am Ryker, or your any three-wheel motorcycle for that matter, or any two-wheel motorcycle for that matter. We're just trying to fill the gap while you're somewhere unable to do it for yourself. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. If there's anything that I mentioned in the video, if you have questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. I manage my own social media, so I definitely will be responding to your comments to the best of my ability. I just want to remind everybody to stay safe, stay sharp, and just keep enjoying this experience.